come along with me this week as you see what I read in a week. Guys, I'm really excited about this video, so let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to be filming how much I read in a week. Today's Tuesday. I did film Monday, but I don't like the clips, so I'm not going to be inserting them, but I do want to talk about yesterday. So on Monday, I am currently reading the book Sociopath, a memoir by Patrick Gagne. I stumbled upon the existence of this book on YouTube, and I watched a 5-minute clip, and it was so interesting. I was like, oh, I need to pick up this book. So I got it on my Kindle. And so this book is a memoir, and it's about Patrick's life. She is a sociopath, and it's literally her telling us her life story, kind of starting at childhood, ways that she could tell how different she was, and she wasn't feeling emotions, and she wasn't kind of interacting and reacting the way other kids were. And it's so interesting, and she kind of warps your mind and changes the way you think about other people. Because if you ask someone what's a sociopath, I feel like most people can't give you an actual definition. Who actually knows that stuff? The actual definition of a sociopath. Because I feel like whenever you throw around the word sociopath, psychopath, all those words always have negative connotations, but most of the general public couldn't give you a actual definition. So I think this book is very interesting, very thought-provoking. I do want to read to you the first page of this book. My name is Patrick Gagne, and I am a sociopath. I am a passionate mother and wife. I am an engaging therapist. I am extremely charming and well-liked. I have lots of friends. I am a member of a country club. I throw parties for every occasion you can imagine. I live in a nice house. I am a writer. I like to cook. I vote. I make people laugh. I have a dog and a cat, and I wait in carpool lines next to other women with dogs and cats. On the surface, I resemble almost every other average American woman. Social media confirms my existence as a happy mommy and loving partner whose posts are borderline narcissistic. Your friends would probably describe me as nice. But guess what? I can't stand your friends. I am a liar. I'm a thief. I'm emotionally shallow. I'm mostly immune to remorse and guilt. I'm highly manipulative. I don't care what other people think. I'm not interested in morals. I'm not interested, period. Rules do not factor into my decision making. I'm capable of almost anything. Sound familiar? So even just that page, I was like, oh girl, talk to me. So I am very much enjoying the book so far. I'm 20% in, and yesterday I read 31 pages, which is not a lot. I know. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. So right now I'm only reading one book, and I think that's just kind of what I want to keep it at. But I do want to say that yesterday I went to a little free library, and I want to discuss little free libraries super quickly with y'all, and I want to get your opinions and your kind of experiences with them. I went and I dropped off one book, and I picked up two. Don't tell nobody. And I'll insert a clip of the library that I went to so you guys can see it. But I went there yesterday, and I have to say that every time I go to a little free library, I get an immense amount of anxiety. But I will say that I get anxiety every day, so maybe that's not a very good word to use. But I get a very big wave of anxiety going to a little free library because I really hate the idea of walking into someone's yard, literally going into someone's private property to get a book. It just feels very weird to me. I've gone to so many different ones. Some are in churches, but those are mostly kids books. I've seen some in playgrounds, kids books. I've seen some on parks. I've seen some that are literally in someone's yard, in the middle of their yard. So the one that I went to, as y'all saw, was it was in their yard. And I parked there, and I was like, oh my God. I just felt very awkward, and I felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like I was doing something wrong. It felt nerve-wracking. I was just I hated that whole experience. I hated it, and I went and I still did it, but I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I went and I picked up the books. It was crazy because I literally when I was picking up the books, their freaking car was right there. I'm just saying, I don't know. I just think it's too, I just don't want to be in your yard. I don't want to be in your private property. I don't want you to have a reason to have an issue with me. I don't want to make it easier for you to kidnap me. Do you know what I'm saying? These are things I think about. And yeah, so that makes me sad. Obviously, I have gone to ones that are like kind of on public property, kind of on private. It's on like a, you know what I mean? Like it's like right there at the line. So that makes me feel a bit more comfortable. But like I said, I have seen ones that are genuinely like right smack dead in the middle of their yard. And it's like, I don't like that. So yeah, anyways, I went there yesterday, picked up 2 books. I'm not really sure that I'm going to read them because they're not really in my genre. First one I got, Daisy Hates. I've heard of this book. I've never read this book. I think is this supposed to be like a spin-off of another book she wrote? Yeah, Magnolia Parks. I've heard of these books. Never read them. I would give it a shot, mostly because I've heard it's like trashy books, like drama, romance, you know what I mean? So maybe I could get into it. I don't know. But I also picked up this book, Love and Other Disasters, by Anita Kelly. Never heard of this book in my life, never seen it before. This is book of the month. It's January 2022 pick. It looks to me like rom-com, and if you guys do not know, I hate rom-coms. I hate them with every bone in my body. Like the only way you can get me to watch a rom-com movie is if I'm like with my best friends and we're making fun of it every second of every minute and I'm like low-key drunk. That's like the only time that I would like be like, yes, let's watch one. Is like those conditions are, if all those things are happening, then it's probably going to be a fun time. But I would never watch a rom-com to watch a rom-com. No. And I feel the same way about books. I just have never enjoyed a rom-com. It's the most boring book in the world. I hate every second of it. It's cringe. No. But I do have a couple romance books that I, am gravitate towards. Books that are written by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have found like really good, books in there that I enjoy. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to be reading more of Sociopaths today. I am on I'm on part 2. So I just got to part 2 of the book. Chapter 7. It's creepy, but it's really interesting. And I will keep you guys updated.
Definitely need those. I know, this place is unbelievable.
How did you fit in the front door?
Living with your parents kind of sucks, and I'm like tired of it. Like I need to move out.
All right, it's time for an update. That last clip, I was in the library and I was literally in there for like 2 hours. I was just playing Sims and listening to the audiobook of Sociopath. So I have officially finished the book. Last time I updated you guys, I was on page 86. So I just finished the book. Now I have to look at how many pages are even in this book because I don't even know. But I will say that I did enjoy it. I have like recently just seen a lot of people on like booktube, whenever they are reading a nonfiction book, they will like purposely not a nonfiction. When it comes to memoirs, they will purposely not rate those because they feel as if they feel weird giving a rating to a book that is about someone's personal life. And I can understand that. And I think that's something that I kind of also want to do. Maybe. I haven't really decided yet. But yeah, I can see like why you wouldn't want to do that. But also like, if you still wanted to rate those kind of books, you can kind of pivot and focus on maybe like the writing and how good that was, or like the pacing of the book. Those are things that you could potentially critique that, kind of keep the actual life story out of the picture. Now, last page on my Kindle says 343. Now, last time I updated you guys, I was on page 86. So that means I read, I just wanted a calculator. Yeah, okay. So I read 257 pages. Add that to the 31 pages that I read. Is that 257? 257 plus 31 equals 288. So today, what day is it? Today's Thursday, guys. I've read 288 pages this week. So that's fun. I will be filming a bit more today and tomorrow. Gonna cook dinner today. I had my first therapy session. That was interesting. But yeah, I think I'll just pick a new book and we'll just see what the vibes are. All right, guys, welcome back. So I have done a little bit of reading. I tried my best to start reading a new book. I will say that when it comes to reading, obviously reading slumps suck, but for me the hardest part about reading is picking a new book, because my mood is all over the place, and a plot can sound interesting, but I'm very picky, so it can just be a whole thing. And so I picked up The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. And this book is about our main character, Cassie, and she finds a book, but the book, it bestows extraordinary powers on whoever possesses it. And there are other magical books in the world that can do wonderful and dreadful things when wielded by dangerous and ruthless individuals. And so now Cassie and her best friend are confronted with violence and danger. And so that's kind of what the book is about. It's fantasy, magical realism, time travel. So I tried reading that book, and it's so weird because when I first started the book, the writing was good. Just objectively, it was good writing, but for some reason, it wasn't a good reading experience, which is so hard for me to truly pinpoint why. But it was good writing. I just didn't think it was the right kind of writing for this book. I don't really know how to explain that other than to say it wasn't my vibe. So I DNF'd it. I am a big DNF'er, so haha. But I did read 20 pages, so I am going to add that to my weekly reading. I left you guys off with me reading 288 pages, so add 20 to that. Now we have 308 pages read. Yeah, so if that kind of synopsis sounds interesting, I would definitely go check that book out. It wasn't my kind of writing. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. But I do have another book on my Kindle that I added a week ago, and it sounds interesting. It's a thriller, which I do not read a lot of thrillers, so whenever I do pick one, I try my best to pick a plot that sounds super, super interesting to me, because I've never given a thriller 5 stars. So if that, says anything about my reading taste, thrillers just aren't at the top of the list. So I've literally only read the prologue of this. I'm at the very, very beginning, but this book is called The Good Samaritan by John Mars. All right, so I just started reading the prologue of The Good Samaritan, and I'm going to go ahead and add those pages for my weekly reading. But the prologue was so creepy. We have our main character, Laura. She works for a hotline that people call if they are feeling as if they are going to self-harm. And so she's talking to these callers, and she's literally telling them to unalive themselves. You can just tell she's a very highly manipulative person. It is very, very creepy behavior. She's getting off from it. It's so weird, but definitely a good way to start a book, because it hooks you in and it makes you want to know why she's like this, and who's going to stop her. So I'm very intrigued to continue reading this book. But this is the end of the video, so I do want to thank you guys for watching if you stayed to the end. And love you. Comment, subscribe. Bye.